I feel great. But all of those flavors, the eggs, tomatoes, the cabbage, the beef, going in pressed together. And not just that. Hello everybody, it's Barry here. Hope you, right there, you, yes, are well. Today we're doing another recipe from the playlist of Tasting the World, the Taste the World playlist, where I travel the world just in my kitchen. Today we're visiting the Dominican Republic. Have your passport ready. Over the last few months I've had two people, and that is enough in my opinion to justify such a unique thing, suggest in the Taste the World comments a Riki Taki sandwich, which I love that, Riki Taki, which is quite a quirky combination and fusion of flavors that ultimately get pressed together in a sandwich in a panini press, which is amazing sounding anyway. But you've got some beef going on in there, you've got some eggs, you've got cabbage, tomatoes, mayo, ketchup, and apparently it's a little bit of an unusual combination, but I guess just because it's a random combination doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. I mean, I've had surströmming on its own, and that, you know, yeah. The first thing we're gonna do though, we're gonna try and keep it authentic. I've heard of a seasoning called Adobo. I know what you're thinking, oh, like PDFs, yeah, Adobo. Well, there we go, Adobo seasoning, you can see it there. You can get some on Amazon in the UK, and I'm sure I've seen it in supermarkets in the UK. See, it's an all-purpose dry spice blend often found in Latin American and Caribbean cuisines. Right, apparently this is how you make your own homemade adobo seasoning. Let's go. Wake me up before you adobo. You're gonna need some hard-boiled eggs, so I might as well get them going in the background, all right? Let's make this adobo seasoning. The main bulk of it is garlic powder, apparently. And I don't know if it's just me, whenever I season something generally, whenever there's garlic powder, there tends to be onion powder, normally the same amounts, but garlic powder is winning today. We've got some salt, white pepper, and some oregano. Finally, we've got some paprika, but apparently paprika is optional, and in my world, paprika is never optional, folks. It looks like a bit of a random medley, almost like modern art. Actually, I could sell that as an NFT, couldn't I? The chunks of oregano are a little big, standing out, so we'll just whiz it up. Actually, I've got myself a mortar and pestle. Let's just do that. Let's go old school. Not sure if you can see, that is much smoother now. Apparently though, yeah, that is adobo. So a PDF seasoning. Whilst Elvis sings and these eggs cook away, we've got some other prep to do involving tomatoes and cabbage, which all goes in. Thanks, Elvis. The other thing to tell you about my mortar and pestle, I had to repair some skirtings in our old part of the house. And the bit that I put on was quite long piece and quite flimsy. And the mortar and pestle, I put down one end to weigh it in place because I was home alone, Macaulay Culkin style, worked an absolute charm. So 5% of my mortar and pestle's life has been used for DIY purposes. I feel great. This is a white cabbage. All right, so that's our white cabbage grated. In this bowl, I've got some slices of tomato. And this is just a bowl of cold water. I must mention the website that I've been following that both of the people sent me a link to was something called bellquisttwist.com. So this is literally it. And I'm a little bit unsure why we're doing this. And to be honest, my measurements might be not that accurate anyway. We've got them in separate bowls. And right here is some mazola, which is corn oil. Now, I've never really used corn oil before at all. Doesn't really smell of anything. But that goes in there. 1 tablespoon of it. 1 tablespoon goes in with the tomatoes. In here is 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. And in here is 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. Mrs. B is gonna love the fact that I bought some more white vinegar because we use it a lot to like clean the kettle and stuff. It's really good. But last up, this is some salt, okay? So the cabbage gets 1/4 of a teaspoon and the tomatoes get 1/2 a teaspoon. That is the only difference. I don't think this matters, but I suppose it's probably quite good to keep it separate. You know, when it comes to building it and stuff. So I'm gonna just delicately fold the tomatoes into that. To me, it's crying out to have some herbs on it, but we'll hold off because we got the adobo. Sometimes I've done recipes before, some of the Korean street food where you'd have something like that and then you'd stick some sugar in, but not today. I go to the oil aisle quite a lot, but I've never actually picked up mazola before, so it's quite cool to, I've got so many oils in my cupboard. I was thinking this the other day as well, complete random thought. When you pop popcorn, yeah, when you do it with oil, do you think a flavoured popcorn, this is just a little question, let me know down below what you think would happen, because I think it's mixed what could happen. If you pop it in a saucepan with oil and it's like a flavoured, let's go chili, let's go extreme, right? Do you reckon the flavour from that oil, or basil oil, okay, a herby oil, do you think that would impart onto the popcorn itself and flavour it in some way? Or do you think it will just be like a method of making it explode and then be like, yeah, well, of course, unless you leave it sat in it. But do you know what I mean? The minute it pops, you take it out. Would a flavoured oil make pop. Just something that came to me. Maybe I'll try it and I'll let you know. Generally, the other night I was watching Cobra Kai and that came to me in my mind. I was like, my mind was starting to drift off about flavoured popcorn oil going, what? Would that work? Come on. Oh, look how shiny that is. I love taking the shell off eggs. That would be my dream job. Anyhow, 2 eggs. And hopefully Elvis has helped us here. Yes, despite the smell, they are nice and sliced. That is some beef mince, which it looks like it's filling the pan massively. It will break down. I knew you'd get out your bed. I knew it. Oh, beef. Sounds good. Anyhow, I went to the effort of buying this corn oil. I might as well put a bit of that on there. So just some oil to get it going. So we are going to start by browning this mince alone, and it should shrink down in that pan a bit, and then we'll add the party to the pan. So the lemon juice and our homemade adobo. Do not print off a PDF and put it in the pan, all right? To be fair, folks, I am following that recipe, and this is a lot of beef. The way I was thinking, I was like, well, okay, I could just stick 500 grams in, but we'll go for the full kilo, because if I don't like it, I could just shove it in an adobo enhanced bolognese. Obviously, normally you do this over the heat. I just wanted to show you. We are going to shimmy on our seasoning, homemade seasoning. And now we've got, this is the lemon juice, okay? 3 tablespoons. So a lot of zing, along with the acidity of the vinegar as well on the cabbage and the tomatoes. And God, that does smell good. And it's all going to come together then in a panini press. Now, I thought I had most gadgets and appliances that I would ever really normally need from day to day, but it turns out I didn't have a panini press, so I got one from the supermarket. But all of those flavours, the eggs, tomatoes, the cabbage, the beef, going in pressed together, and not just that. Do you think that is done? Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, mate. I was actually planning on building the bread first. In fact, what I've got here is a ciabatta roll that I have halved, okay? And what I like about it is there's little holes in it. Obviously, you've got the base bit, which is nice and solid, the crust, but we can really get the filling in there, drenched both sides. But there's no point me filling it up right now because we've gone all to that effort of chilling the cabbage particularly, and I just think that if the beef hits it, which is still warm, it's gonna go like, meh. That's the official term. It could like make it wilt or something like that, so I'm gonna let the beef cool down so we'll get this panini press ready. Yeah, but it's not got any grid lines on it, which is fine. I mean, it's just gonna be flat and pressed. I mean, that's fine, right, mate? Thank you, mate. I just tried to Google what the Riki Taki means, and it doesn't really come up. I was like, oh, surely there's some sort of Dominican Republican explanation for this. Most of the results end up being tiki taka, which is actually a form of football or soccer, depending on where you live. That was very popular by Barcelona, I think. Me and my friends, when we play football on a Wednesday night, actually, we play against a load of 20-year-olds, you know, you'd be proud of me. We try to do tiki taka, but it's more like tiki tumbler, definitely. So, yeah, I don't, if anyone knows the story, the meaning behind this, I'd be really interested. But anyhow, it's going to be a blooming awesome sandwich, I think. And I'm basing that purely on the bit of beef that Boston had pre-seasoning and that I've just had with the seasoning and the lime on. It's nice, a teeny zing in there, not as much as I was expecting, but a real delicate, it doesn't just feel like beef. It is like a gentle all-purpose seasoning and I'm loving it. Are we ready then, folks? Let's go. Here is the ciabatta. We're gonna take that first lid off. And like I say, perhaps the ciabatta isn't the best because of all those holes in it there, but particularly this one, I was like, oh my gosh, I can see the chopping board, but it is the crust, okay? So it has got some strength there. Mayonnaise on the bottom half. Apparently, this is gonna help be a sort of glue that helps adhere the beef onto it. It's gonna stick it and hold it roughly in place. So let's not go light with this. You know, we didn't get all dressed up for nothing. An amazing platform for our beef. A spoon at a time like that, just to grip it on there. I am gonna load it up fairly high though. And I really like the idea with these Taste the World recipes of pushing it to ones that I wouldn't have ever heard of. Never heard of this before, certainly. Blimey. So now we get the cabbage. I don't really want this to be too pretty either. I like the fact that it could be quite messy. Some strips of tomato, and now the egg. So this is where it gets a little crazy. I mean, I say I have made weirder sandwiches, but you guys were like raving about this that sent it in, all 2 of you. But I like that. I like going for like the underdog. Oh my goodness. I hope the sandwich press is going to help me here. Crikey. But we need something like the mayonnaise did, how that adhered the beef. We want something to adhere to the eggs. This, folks, is some ketchup. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's feeling quite rigid, actually. I like that. I mean, a little bit's coming out the sides there as I'm pressing it. But that ketchup has bitten those eggs. That looks amazing. Right, let's press it. I didn't catch that on camera then. I moved this into place, moved the board, and it nearly fell off entirely. I would have been so upset. Anyhow. Oh. And then we'll just press it down and let it do its thing. Oh my gosh. Ah! A little bit of tidying up to do around the front, but that's fine. It's pushing it down at an angle. Let me just try something. Look, if I show you, look, you see that? Can you see how it's gone like that? Ha, ha. Ooh, ooh, ha, ha, ha. Do the same there for a little bit. To effectively push it the other way, we might get a flat top on it. I keep thinking the bits of egg are cheese though. I'm going, oh, it's going to melt in a minute. It's mozzarella. Nah. Alright, just to show you the heat is maintaining that temperature. Turn it around one more time, and despite a little bit of mess, it's mostly staying in there. So I'm just going to keep warming it through now. I'm happy with that height. It's fairly even. You know, so it doesn't look like a pitched roof. You know what I mean? Yeah? Oh, that is amazing. A few bits on there. It's had a good battle, but I'm very excited for this. Oh, look at that. Check it out. I like the idea of stacking it, but you've got all the layers. You've got the ciabatta, but where the mayonnaise has warmed and soaked into the beef, then the cabbage, the tomato, the egg, and the ketchup has merged in with the egg and the toast on top of that. I reckon this is going to be really nice, and I feel like I must have it warm, so without further ado, I think you're going to love this because you like an egg sandwich. I
love an egg sandwich.
I mean, it's not an egg sandwich, but you know what I mean? Here we go. Are you ready? Oh, it's warmed. It's not...
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah.
I didn't see the other side.
Good, right?
Wow.
Wow.
It's like sweet.
Yes.
And savoury at the same time.
And zingy.
What's the sweetness?
I don't know. I feel like I've literally travelled to the Dominican Republic on a plane. That was like a journey, and my tongue was like a blah, blah, blah.
That's nice.
Sweet, spicy, tangy, acidic, crunch. But then you've got that nice freshness of the tomatoes.
I just got some of the pickled cabbage. That's nice.
You good, yeah?
Yeah.
Really like, the sweetness, where is that coming from? I love how it's like really not messy to eat as well. It's good, right?
I've never had anything like that before.
It's good, yeah. People were sort of saying, oh, be careful because it's quite some weird flavour combos and it's better than it sounds, but like, we've done a lot worse.
I like the weird flavour combos.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, when I was making it, where's the sweetness coming from? Probably the ketchup, I think.
Yeah.
But the mayonnaise kind of runs through it and gives it like a soothing calmness too, but the pickle is just light enough.
I thought it was going to be a lot spicier.
Yeah, well I put a lot of seasoning on as well, but it was kind of like it's described as like an all-purpose seasoning from the Caribbean islands.
I like it.
But yeah, that is it looks horrendous now.
I'd still eat it.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna eat it.
Well, that's our lunch all done. So thank you so much, folks. And the two of you that suggested it, I hope a few more of you make it. If you do, send me a photo on your social media of choice. I love to see photos of any of the attempts. That's the whole reason I do the channel. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you are, make sure your notifications are turned on. Much, much appreciated. And of course, oh, he's been everywhere. Any Taste the World video ideas you do have, do let me know down below, because I really like quirky stuff like this. That maybe it's a street food there, I'm not too sure. I couldn't find out too much about it, but it is insane. So maybe impress someone without telling what's in it. Make sure that they don't have an allergy first of all. But I really, really think you'll love it. That's good, right?
Yeah, it's really tasty. Right,
we'll see you next time. Ciao. But just literally finished. You know that's when it's a good one.